Hello everyone, to wrap up this month's September for Sci-Fi movie reviews, in today's video I'm going to review When Worlds Collide from 1951. When Worlds Collide is a natural disaster sci-fi film that was made by Paramount Pictures back in 1951. When Worlds Collide was directed by Rudolph Maté. He was a well-known cinematographer who did film noirs and westerns. The film was produced by George Pal. After the success of Destination Moon, he immediately worked on this project right away. The screenplay was written by Sidney Boham. It was based on a book When Worlds Collide by Edward Palmer and Philip Wiley. The film stars Richard Durr, Barbara Rush, Peter Hansen, and John Hoyt. The film was released on November 15, 1951. When Worlds Collide made $1.6 million at the box office and won an honorary Academy Award for Best Special Effects at the Oscars that year in 1951. When Worlds Collide is about Dr. Bronson discovering another planet called Zyra. Dr. Hendren, an astronomer, checks horrifying conclusions that Bellis, a star in Zyra's orbit, is doomed to crash into the Earth. Within a matter of months, Hendren's daughter Joyce takes an interest and falls head over heels for David Randall, the pilot. Joyce pleads to have David tag along in a small group relocated to avoid Zara. Impending mass destruction. The movie is like a Noah's Ark type story. The world is ending and they need to build a big rocket spaceship to go to a new planet. Just like when Noah built the Ark to save the animals from drowning. It's the kind of movie that makes you think what would happen in real life if the world really was going to come to an end. Here's a little fact about me. When I was a little kid growing up, there was a time period and phase in my life where I actually thought the world was actually going to come to an end. I remember every night before I went to bed, I was scared to go to bed and sleep, thinking that I would not wake up the next day knowing that I died and the world ended. When Dr. Henry goes to Congress to prove his theory and point about the world ending, no one believes him. The same way how no one believed Noah that the world was going to end by a big giant water wave. Or just like how Jor-El in Superman when no one believed in that Krypton would blow up. It's an example of what happens when no one believes in not taking as serious of natural disasters that could happen. Here's a similar example. In today's modern world, how no one believed that COVID was not a big problem until what happened last year when the cases went up and a lot of people died from the coronavirus. The film also made me think about Superman when Krypton blew up. But here's an idea. Imagine if Kal was never born and a universe where Krypton dies, no survivors, all of Krypton is lost. The characters in this movie, they're not bad, they're very cliche and nothing special and crazy. The character of David Randall is a charming, a gentleman, a little humorous at times. After getting paid his money for delivering a briefcase of important documents and the world coming to an end, it cuts to him on the town at a restaurant trying to light up a cigarette with one of those, stove dishes. He has a hard time getting his cigarette light up. Instead he uses a developer to light up and smokes. Joyce is the kind of character that is confused on who she really loves and unsure if she wants to get married because of bad timing for what's about to come with the world coming to an end. It's not like she doesn't like Dr. Tony. She doesn't love him the same way she feels about David Randall. At first, Tony's jealous and looks like he's about to leave Dave behind after rescuing a little boy from a big water flood in a house. But Tony does the right thing and turns the helicopter on. He comes to his senses to respect Joy's wishes. The rivalry between Tony and David only lasts for a moment because the love triangles the least of their problems for what's to come. The rich millionaire Stan, who invests his money to build a rocket ship, only cares about saving himself. He's like all cliche rich jerks, narcissistic and doesn't care about no one but himself. It was a big twist to find out that he was not a cripple the whole time. Dr. Cole decided that they are old and should sacrifice the young to escape the end of the world apocalypse. The movie shows how what to do in this situation, how people react, and how can we all work together to live and survive. This movie to me was okay. Not saying I hate it or it's bad. It's the kind of movie I might not rewatch anytime soon unless I'm in a specific mood. It wasn't one of my favorites like The Day the Earth Stood Still. But I still think the movie has a very important, powerful message on the world ending. This movie established the cliches of other like sci-fi disaster films on the end of the world films on scientists discovering a calculation on the world ending and politicians not listening to them, thinking that they're crazy, where the truth is they are not crazy and they are right. Until the natural disaster happens and it's too late, I can only imagine how audiences reacted to this movie when it came out in 1951 and being disturbed on the world ending. This movie, along with The Day the Earth Stood Still, The Thing from Another World, were all credited establishing the golden age of sci-fi film in the 50s. It was the beginning of sci-fi films in the 50s. The genre evolved, boomed, and exploded after the success of these movies. The special effects are great and amazing, well done. That is the highlight of this movie. This movie, along with War of the Worlds, probably had some of the best special effects I've ever seen in a 50s sci-fi film. It's obvious they are toy sets, but still very well done. I'll take this over CGI and a green screen. I'd rather see something that's there and practical than a bad CGI video game. In the 1930s, Paramount bought the rights to make the book into a movie. It was originally supposed to be directed by Cecil B. DeMille. But it never got made back then because there was no script written at the time. After the success of this movie, Paramount almost wanted to make a sequel based on the book After Worlds Collide to focus on the struggle of human survivors on a new alien planet. But unfortunately, the failure of Conquest of Space, the sequel idea was cancelled. This could have been an interesting concept, but I guess we'll never know how this could have turned out to be. The movie Deep Impact from 1998 was a loose remake of When Worlds Collide, but I'd never seen that movie. It was supposed to be originally directed by Steven Spielberg, but he could not get the rights, and the studio would not allow him to have complete control of the film. So that was my review of When Worlds Collide. Not one of my favorite movies, I don't hate it, it's just not a film I won't be rewatching anytime soon again. Not like the same way I feel about The Thing from Another World or The Day the Earth Stood Still, or other good sci-fi films from the 50s that I love a lot. Please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell to get the latest updates on my YouTube channel. See you next time for October Universal Monster horror movie reviews.